very difficult to sum up the whole thing. I suppose I thought we were actually going quite well. They obviously started very well with the bat again, but we seemed to drag it back pretty well through that middle period, and then we just let them get away from us a touch at the end, which was disappointing. But at one point they were on for sort of 185, 190, which we would have taken, and then obviously the batting was very disappointing. We've rolled over much more than we would have liked there. I think 2020 can do that to you. You know, we could have at one point, whenever it was quite evident that we weren't going to win the match at 4 or 5 down, we could have knocked it around and got a bit more respectability. But you know, that's not really going to teach us much, I suppose. We've got to keep going for our shots and got to look. We've spoken to the guys about if they feel like they're going to be able to take a bowler down to go ahead and do that. But certainly, you know, to be bowled out for 70 odd was very disappointing.
What's the difference between the two matches in your innings was the start really, because you said you wanted to improve against the spinners, but perhaps lost too many wickets and couldn't even try to express yourself against spinners.
Yeah, well, when you lose Paul Sterling, second, third ball of the game, you know, it's obviously very disappointing. But you know, that's 2020 cricket. Paul's not always going to get us off to a flyer, or the openers aren't always going to get us off to a flyer, and you still have to be able to combat it. Even if you are 2 or 3 down, it's not ideal to be 2 or 3 down in the power play, but things aren't going to go your way all the time, and it was still disappointing. I mean, we've been bowled out for 76. We can't hide behind anything. We can't say, oh well, we shouldn't have lost many up front. It was the batting innings altogether wasn't good enough. But saying that, I think the guys will still learn from this experience. You know, we're playing against the 15 best Indian players in the IPL. You know, they're in the Indian team for a reason. They're obviously very good, and we've got to recognise that, you know, our skills probably weren't as good as they could have been or should have been. Not probably, they definitely weren't. But I think that, you know, the younger guys, especially in the squad, like, go back to James Shannon 2 days ago, Peter Chase will have taken a huge amount out of these 2 games. And even the likes of David Delaney being in and around the squad, and hopefully they can see, younger guys can see what it's all about playing international cricket, and we'll come into the Afghanistan series hopefully with a month and a half's break now to go away and work on our skills and come back in that series strong.
Yeah, Gary, is there any positivity maybe to carry forward from these 2 matches that were played against India?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've just said there about Peter Chase and James Shannon. I thought the way they played in the 2 games was pretty good, and Chase at bowling at the death will have learned a lot there. So I'd say those are 2 things. The fielding I thought was very good over the 2 games, minus a couple of drop catches in the first game. But again, Stuart Thompson sticking his hand up to go and catch 3 after dropping, you know, fairly straightforward one. He came back strong, and I think the fielding overall was very good, especially the ground fielding was outstanding. But ultimately, yeah, still disappointing.
Today was another bit of a struggle against wrist spin. How do you deal with that going forward?
Well, wrist spin, I think all batters around the world, that's why wrist spin is so effective, especially in 2020 cricket. Everyone's dying to have a leg spinner in their team that can bolt sides out. If you're never 100% sure what way the ball spin, it ultimately becomes a lot more difficult to play than if you've got finger spinners who can only spin the ball one way. So I think it wouldn't just be us that would have struggled to. Yes, we struggled more than we should have, definitely, against those 2 wrist spinners. But I think if you'd have put other teams in the situation out there and with those 2 wrist spinners playing, you know, they wouldn't have taken them for 40 or 4 overs. We just have to find a way to be better against it. And we did have a good chat, but it's difficult to put things right with only a day in between games, and that's not a criticism. It's just a fact that you've only got a day in between games to go away and practice. It was more about trying to have a good conversation about how we go about playing it, and I thought Stuart Thompson played it pretty well whenever he came in there. He played it nicely off the back foot. It's obviously easier whenever the ball's you can get back and play because it's a bit slower, but yeah, it would be nice if we had a wrist spinner that were able to do what they did.
Rob, Gary, this fielding first suggests maybe a lack of confidence, conviction in the batting order, because it seems like you put Cage fast outfield.
No, I don't think so. we spoke about it. We weren't 100% sure with what we wanted to do at the toss today. We know India are a very, very good chasing side. The wicket was grassier than it was 2 days ago. If we'd came here and we looked at the wicket and it was the same as it was on Wednesday, then we would have batted first because it was probably not going to get any easier. But we thought that the grass might hold it together slightly better, and I think it did. It didn't spin as much as it did the other day. It still spun a bit, but we can't. We've not been bowled out for 76 because we lost or we won the toss and decided to bowl first. At the end of the day, we haven't batted well enough, but it certainly wasn't a lack of confidence. It was a bit of a 50-50 call, and we went with the ball because we thought that was the best way to win the game.